Senator Kevin Cramer joins us now to discuss the Biden administration's resumption of oil and gas drilling on federal lands. Senator Cramer, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Now, President Biden ran with the promise of ending all oil and gas drilling on federal public lands, but he's facing pressure from Americans for the price they're paying at the pump and how it virtually reverberates through everything, raising the cost of life. Now, this is the first time new leasing will be available since Biden took office 10 months ago, but we understand that only a fraction of eligible acres will be available. Is any part of this announcement a step in the right direction, or is it another smokescreen?
Well, it's a bit of a smokescreen. I suppose you have to give them some credit for a teeny-weeny step in the right direction. The problem is the one step in the right direction is followed up by two steps in the wrong direction. As you rightfully point out, he's only considering 20% of the eligible BLM acres for leasing, and then on top of that, he's adding to the price of doing it. He's adding to the royalty price. The royalties are based on a percentage of the revenue created by drilling on the land. So he's creating a disincentive to drill on the land, because there's a big difference between getting a lease and drilling. They're not the same thing. The lease is only the very first step. And if you open up for some leases, but then disincentivize the drilling, you really haven't accomplished anything.
Now, a big part of this, as you point out, is incentive, and
right.
the raising the royalty rate from 12.5% to 18.75%. I mean, what does this signal to the market?
Well, and Josh, there you hit right on the issue, right? Because markets respond to signals, and signals include things like demand, and it includes things like price, the cost of doing the business, the regulations that surround it. And so again, while he opens up a modest number of acres for leasing, he sends all the other signals that say don't drill here. Just as an example, once you get a lease, first thing you have to determine is whether or not there's even minerals underneath it. Now, in North Dakota, I think we have a pretty good sense. We have a pretty good sense of where our oil is, and even on federal lands. But then you have to do an application for a permit to drill, and the Bureau of Land Management has expanded the time it takes to get that permit. Every day that it takes to get a permit really becomes a disincentive. Because you can go on private land someplace or go in Texas someplace, and you don't have to go through that. They have more than doubled the days it takes to get a permit from what it was in the previous administration. So, again, one step forward, two steps back. Then you consider all the other signals that are sent to the marketplace. Things like the nominees for Federal Reserve and Comptroller of the Currency, and people that have pledged to shut down the fossil fuel industry. People have pledged to change the entire system in the United States of America. Every agency is sending the wrong signals for this. And then consider shutdown of pipelines and the transportation means to move the oil to market. So I think the president's trying to score some political points with this gimmick, and isn't really serious about America getting back to being energy dominant, energy independent.
Well, from the response from both the right and the far left, it certainly seems to be a mixed message. Senator Kevin Cramer,
yeah,
thank you very much for your time.
Good point. Thank you. My pleasure.